Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Royse City, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Royse City, Texas. On every episode, Denisha Denny will share Royse City's story through the stories of the people who call Royse City home. This is Heart of Royse City.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Heart of Royse City. I asked Pastor Chris Everson to come on the show because he came so highly recommended. I did not know him before, but after this episode, I really got to see his heart for this community. Here's my conversation with Pastor Chris. Hey y'all, I'm Denisha Denny, your host of Heart of Royse City. Today we are sitting inside the well in downtown Royse City, and our guest today is Pastor Chris Everson. He is the pastor of the Royse City First United Methodist Church. How are you today, Chris?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, you came highly recommended to come onto our show, so it is an honor to have you here today.
Well, it's an honor to be here and to be a part of the Royse City family. I just love being a part of this great community.
That's awesome. And that's exactly what I've heard, is that you really plug into this community. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people know you for that. They know how you've plugged into the community. But what they don't know is your story. How did you get to Royse City? And so let's start from there. Where were you born, Pastor Chris, and how did you get to Royse City?
Well, I was born in Hutchinson, Kansas, which is about 45 minutes northwest of Wichita, Kansas, so in central Kansas. And I moved to Texas in 2000 to pursue a Master's of Divinity School at Perkins School of Theology there on the Southern Methodist University campus. And
how did you choose that campus?
Funny story. When I answered my call to ministry, I had the opportunity to go to two different schools of theology. There was one in Kansas City called St. Paul School of Theology, and then Perkins School of Theology. And I went to applied to both of those places, and immediately heard back from Perkins School of Theology. Came down, interviewed, applied, and they accepted me to come to Perkins. So I just immediately moved down here. And the St. Paul part didn't really quite pan out, but it was just a good fit, and I feel like it was just a good leading to get there.
That's great. So when you said you answered the call, can you tell us what that means and what your journey was when you were answering the call?
I felt like when I was in middle school that God was calling me into ministry, but I didn't quite want to do that yet. My dream in middle school and high school was that I would become a sports doctor and would become an athletic trainer. And I'm a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I was thinking that I would be on the sidelines on Sundays for the Kansas City Chiefs, which I would have a Super Bowl ring right now. But
that's awesome.
Whenever I went to Kansas State University for my undergrad, started to do all of the science classes and everything, and just realized, that wasn't really for me. So I fell back on my true love in high school was music education. So I got my degree, transferred from Kansas State University to Fringe University in Wichita, Kansas, and I got my Bachelor of Music Education degree there. And I taught for about 3 years in the public school in Wichita, and then realized that God was leading me to go into the ministry. And so whenever I say called to go in the ministry, it was like, God saying, this is what I have planned for you to share my love and grace to a church, to a community.
Did you grow up in a Christian home?
Yes, I did. I grew up in a Christian home, and always in church on Sunday. Even in college, with college life, made sure that I was up on Sunday morning to go to church. I volunteered at churches in college, both in Manhattan, Kansas, and in Wichita, and it's just always been a part of who I am and what I've done.
So was there someone in your life that really put that influence on you? Was it your mom, your dad, or both?
I would say there would have to be probably both my mom and dad. And growing up in Hutchinson, we had a great pastor named Tom Mendenhall. And he was, he led me in confirmation class, and just, it was a good example, with my parents and him, just a good example of what it meant to live a Christian life and how to move forward as a follower of Jesus Christ.
That's incredible. It's so important we have those people in our lives that go along that walk with us and come into our lives and help us know what that really means and what that looks like.
Exactly.
So what did you do after college?
After college, I taught for 4 years. 1 year I taught K through 12 music at a small town in Kansas called Burton, Kansas, which is there in between Hutchinson and Wichita. And then after that, I'd say disastrous first year, I moved and did K through 5 music at a public school in Wichita, Kansas for 3 years.
What did you think about that?
I liked it because I had the opportunity to influence and just support children. I love music, and I think music gives you the opportunity to express yourself in ways that you just normally can't do in conversations, and it allows you to use gifts that God has given you in a way to express who you are.
So do you sing? Do you play an instrument? What are your gifts?
I sing. My Bachelor of Music Education degree was in voice and conducting. So I was a voice major in college. I play guitar. I play very little piano here or there. And try to pick up a different instrument here or there to do that, but it's mainly focus on guitar and singing.
I wish I'd known that ahead of time. I would have said, hey, come and sing for us. So feel free to sing anytime you want to in the middle of this.
No, not right now.
You're good. Well, I mean, what a wonderful talent. I don't have that talent, so I always appreciate someone who has a beautiful voice and that gift that God gave you. And that truly is a gift that connects to other people when you can share that. So that's wonderful. So what did you do after the teaching experience?
Well, after the teaching, I moved down here to Texas to go to seminary. And my first ministry job was in Colleyville, Texas. I was at First United Methodist Church of Colleyville, and I was the children and youth music leader. Just my Bachelor of Music Education degree just kind of led into that. And then while working with youth ministry, I really saw a desire to help youth grow in their faith. And after a year, I was hired on as the youth director up at First United Methodist Church of Gainesville, Texas, and did youth ministry there for about 3-4 years, and then bounced around about 3 or 4 other churches within the North Texas Annual Conference until I was fully ordained as an elder in the church, or as a pastor in the church, in 2011.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that has to be a journey
and
process.
Yes, definitely.
So what did you do after that in 2011 once you...
2011, I moved to First United Methodist Church of Rowlett, Texas, and was a part of planting a new congregation in the Wiley-Saxe area. And that kind of morphed into working with a smaller church that's in the Wiley-Saxe area. And then in 2016, I was appointed to become the pastor here in Royse City at First United Methodist Church, Royse City.
How did you get that appointment?
Well, through the United Methodist system, we have something called itinerancy, which means that as a pastor, I am not hired by a local congregation, but we are sent by the bishop of our North Texas Annual Conference, which stretches all the way out to Wichita Falls, out west, to Paris and Sulphur Springs, out east down to Dallas, and that's the whole area of the North Texas Conference. So the bishop and what we call bishop and the cabinet, which are the district superintendents, they look to see the gifts and the graces of the pastors and the needs of the local congregation or communities, and see how they can match up pastors to be in service to those locations.
That's really spectacular how they do that. And I'm sure there's lots of prayer that goes
Oh,
over
absolutely,
that
absolutely. And
to know.
through guidance of the Holy Spirit and everything, that they listen to see where it is that God is leading them to place the clergy in the communities all around the area.
Do you get a say in that also, or are you a part of that process?
Yeah. I mean, the local churches are a part of the process. We have a part of the process saying where we are, what we feel like, what's going on. But when the bishop says we want you to go to a community, you say, yes, bishop. We are sent by you, so we honor that covenant that we have made with our annual conference.
Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So thank you. So once you got to Royse City in 2016, what was your first impression? What did you think?
I absolutely love this town. I mean, from when my district superintendent was mentioning Royse City, I got in my car and just came out here, and I drove around. Actually, the very first place that I stopped was right here at the well. And I got myself a drink and just kind of sat back down there in the lounge area and just watched to see what was going on, to see who came in and out and everything, and just walking up and down town, and just being able to stand and look at our sanctuary, which I think is one of the most beautiful buildings in the state of Texas. And I know there's pride there in that, but I mean, it's just a beautiful landmark, and I think a lot of people see that place as a place where they can come and experience calm and peace and the love and grace of Jesus Christ.
That's powerful. It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful building, and it's iconic.
Yeah.
To Royse
Yes,
City.
it is. Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
And you get to be the pastor of
I
that.
know, exactly. It's so much fun.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's a big responsibility. And it sounds like you're doing a great job with that. So when you got here, did you start plugging into the community? After your experience at the well and you're observing this new town, what did you do after that?
I wanted to get connected. The funniest story. When I got here, I was my appointment officially started on July the 1st, and I can't remember what day that was, but no, I think it was on a Friday. But so that first Monday, I came to the office and got settled down, and I said, I'm going to go and just go downtown and just introduce myself to every single shop owner that's here in Royse City. There was only one problem with that. There are a lot of places that are closed on Monday here in Royse City, which that's the way it is. So I'm going around knocking on doors, and there's like nobody there. Went back to the office and was talking to somebody. Well, don't you know, things aren't open on Monday. So that was just kind of a funny little moment to remember, and it helped me remember, that things work that way. And I think it's one of the charms of Royse City is that downtown is not open on Mondays because they're home resting because they work all the other times.
And that's great. That's still part of that small town feel.
Yeah, exactly.
By it being closed. And I've come into that too. I love coming to the well, and I have to remember, okay, it's Monday. So they're not open on Monday.
Right.
It's good for the restaurants who are, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is nice because the owners need to refresh themselves.
Right, exactly.
And so what a great observation. So now don't make your appointments on Monday.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, great. So what are some other things that you're involved with through Royse City and through the church?
I think Royse City has an amazing chamber of commerce, and the way that they work to support the businesses and just community in general. So I attend all the chamber events that I can. I currently am sitting on the Royse City ISD Bond Steering Committee, and they're in the process of working to plan a bond election coming up next year, and to build at least one or two elementary schools. I don't want to speak out of turn. I know definitely at least one elementary school, but moving and playing forward as Royse City is just continuing to grow and grow and grow.
It really is. And it's one of those things that it's going to be a necessity.
Right, yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about Royse City, too. You really focus on what's coming and
Right,
how to be
yes.
ready for that.
Right, yeah.
I bet you get to learn all kinds of things behind the scenes.
It
being
is
on that
just so
board.
cool. And just to seeing, not just seeing behind the scenes, but also just seeing how much everyone from the chamber to the school district to the city council to the police station, the fire station, how much they all love and care about this community and want to serve it the best that they can.
That's wonderful. Do you have something through your church that you do annually every year or projects that you help with?
Yeah, well, a couple of things we have. Back in 2006, we started a food pantry. And it's called Our Daily Bread Food Pantry. And from 2006 on, it has grown tremendously. We're now partners with the North Texas Food Bank, and we get extra food from them. But we serve clients on Thursday nights and on Saturday mornings. And just the outpouring of love and support that the community gives to the food pantry. One of the things that I've been extremely thankful for, and for the volunteers and for the community helping out. We, hearing other food pantries in the state have had to close down or not have been able to serve their community, our food pantry has stayed open during this entire time of the COVID-19 pandemic and everything, and we've been able to serve every single family that has come to the food pantry for help.
That's incredible. So about how many families do you usually serve on these days?
We serve on average, now I think we're up to about 50 families a week. I think we have an average of 10 to 15 new families every month that have come to participate in the food pantry right now. But they get a nice bag full of vegetables, rice, and we get a lot of great items from Walmart, which partners with us, and we are able to give them fresh meat and food, produce from Walmart that we're able to give to them. So it's not just eating canned corn and peas, which is normally the main item that comes in, but we have a good balance of food for our families and even fun stuff for kids to eat.
That's so nice. I know that the kids have to appreciate that too.
Right, yeah.
You know, and I'm sure the parents want to give the most normal
Yeah.
life that they can to
Right,
them.
yeah.
So do most of your donations come from businesses, or do they also come from individuals of Royse City?
Most of our donations, I think, come from individuals, by dropping off food at the food pantry or to the church's office. Sometimes the scouts will have a drive and we'll have food coming from the Boy Scouts. The post office will do a drive here or there. The school, they always do a big drive also. So it's just fun to see how much food comes in from the local community to help support that ministry.
That probably makes you kind of a nucleus then for all of the different organizations and groups coming in.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, I mean Rotary, the school district, the Lions Club, all of them that find ways to help support. And another thing that I love about other churches here in town, they know that they are welcome to help support Our Daily Bread however they want, and with volunteers that come in and help, or with other items. So we have other churches that will bring in items, and there are a couple of other food pantries, like I know Fellowship has one, Trinity has one, and if we have an overabundance, we will take it and we will share it with those, because we know families have a way to go and wherever they live, the easiest ones for them to get to, they go and they get help from those.
That's wonderful. Were you a part of kind of putting that together?
No, that was something that was available, that was here before I got here.
You just carrying the torch.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about your personal life. Are you married?
I'm
Do you have
married.
children?
Married. My beautiful wife Tracy. We've been married for 16 years. Going to be 17 next March.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
we have 3 children. Deborah, she is 28, I believe. Tim, who is 26, and Jacob, who is 24. And we have a grandson, Samuel, who is, I can't believe he's in first, is he first grade or second? He's either first or second grade, but it's amazing how fast he's grown up.
He's in that fun age.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
That's great. Okay, so one of the things, we've been talking a lot about Royse City and all these great things. So let's kind of back up on Heart of Royse City. We really talk about what you love about Royse City. And you've talked about so many things now that you've already been a part of and how you're connected. But let's really talk about what makes you love Royse City and makes you want to be connected into the community and continue to give back the way that you do.
I think the thing that I love about Royse City is the community. You know, the desire not to stay small, but the desire to have that small town feel, to where, you know, you can just walk across the street and know your neighbor, or you can just stroll down Main Street anytime and know, you know, what shops to go into, and you know, you know the people behind the counter or that own the store, and you can build relationships with them. I think that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this community.
That's great. And that's something you don't see in every community.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Especially as it's growing, the way that Royse City is growing. And so I hope it always keeps that hometown feel.
I hope so too. And I think with the leadership of the town, the leadership of the ISD, I think that's something that they want to keep intact. Now, Mayor Nickel does a great job of having that personal touch, you know, either through her Facebook page or just, you know, she'll just call me here or there and say, hey, Pastor Chris, we need this. You know, is there a way that you can help out? And we'll get the other pastors in town and we'll figure out what we can do to help out somebody that's in need, or ways that we can provide for the community.
That network is so powerful. And you don't have that sometimes in a really large city where the mayor calls the pastor and says, hey, Pastor Chris, this is what we have. How can you help? How do we make this happen? And that says a lot about this community. Great. Well, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
Here's your pop question.
Alrighty.
Okay. And there's no wrong answer.
Okay.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and how did you apply it?
I guess the best piece of advice is, you know, really just the golden rule. You know, treat everyone like you would want to be treated. You know, and hopefully I apply that every day. I mean, when I have a phone call with somebody who is in trouble, you know, it's just taking that time to listen, to hear what's going on in their lives. How can I, you know, I may not be able to help them out, you know, monetarily or physically, but how can I help them channel what it is that they need so that they can get that help? And know that if I were in that situation, I would want somebody to listen to what it was that I needed. And if they weren't able to help me, they would be able to find a way to get me towards that help as possible. We had somebody come by the church about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was in the office. We were still kind of in shutdown mode because of the pandemic, and he knocked on the door, and I was the only one there, and he was from South Texas and was just leaving the area, was put in the van, and what he said is that the van just dropped him off in Royse City and then took off, and he didn't have anywhere to go. And, you know, I could have looked at that as an inconvenience because there was other stuff that I needed to get done, but I knew that God had placed him right there and placed me right there at that moment so I could hear what he needed. And through a couple of the connections that I've had through the chamber and through other organizations, we were able to get him the help that he needed.
That is what makes what you do so special. And you're building a special place in heaven for other people to be there too by your service and what you do. So
it really shows me your heart. And today I'm getting to know you for the first time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm leaving this conversation with you, really getting to know your heart. And now I better understand why you came so highly recommended to be on Heart of Royse City.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service, for what you do for the community of Royse City, for the people here. And thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for allowing me to come in and just have this conversation with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Royse City, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.